Rockeyez would like to welcome Matt Barlow, Ashes of Aries. Hey, man, what's up? What's going on?
Hey, man, not too much. What's happening with you?
Not much. How was retirement?
That's again. It's one of those funny words, man. I don't know if you caught any of my other interviews or anything like that talking about that, but that was a word that I certainly didn't pick. But I mean, I get where the management for Iced Earth was coming from when they did it. They were trying to sort of make it like, I was just getting out of the music business altogether or what have you, but that wasn't ever the case. So it's just an unfortunate thing because it didn't need to be that way.
Right.
But it is what it is, man.
Cool.
It's simply, I couldn't do the tour schedule, like that they were wanting to do. And, I was given an offer, and I think it was a reasonable one if I didn't have, wife and kids at home, small kids certainly, because it just requires a lot of time away from home, and I've got another career, so
right.
So I'm like 10 years into it, so it's sort of giving that up is sort of all kind of a little crazy, man. And obviously, I went back to Iced Earth under the auspice that they were going to work around my schedule, and they did for a couple of years, and that was cool. But it just wasn't enough, and they needed to go on. John needed to go on because that's where he makes his money is
right.
The band. He doesn't have any other form of income or what have you. So it just made sense for me to bail out. But it just wasn't the way that the management did it just wasn't cool.
Right.
They did a press release and all this other stuff using that word particularly, like in it was splashed across everything. Matt Barlow retires or whatever.
Right.
It just I get not wanting Iced Earth or John to look bad, and I certainly would never do that in a million years, man. And as a matter of fact, I was even after that, I was still out there going, hey, this is just something that the guy needs to do, because
right.
This is his income, this is his livelihood, and I would never do anything to hurt somebody else's livelihood.
Right.
And I would have never gone back to Iced Earth had I foreseen this going on, down the line, because it just doesn't look good for John. You know what I mean? And my wife and I actually had a talk with him, prior to me coming back, and we were like, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's cool, man. We'll work around the schedule." And I mean, I get it, but it just didn't work out. And what he was offering me just wasn't enough. When you look at everything in perspective,
right.
I've got 2 small kids, and the career that I have, outside of music, I've got life insurance, health insurance,
right.
all this stuff, and to give all that up, it would be, to me, didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
So.
Now, Ashes of Aries is a mixture of Iced Earth and Nevermore. How will that, differ from those bands?
Well, it just does, man. I mean, obviously, probably people are going to look more at, at it sounding like Iced Earth because I'm singing in it. But
right.
It's not Iced Earth because Iced Earth has Stu Block singing for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just one of those things. So, I mean, but people will probably be reminded of earlier stuff, everything that I've, kind of done. There's a little bit of everything in there. A lot of the stuff, as far as vocally, my approach, the heavy stuff, I wanted the vocals to be heavier, and actually on the other side of that, there's some stuff that's maybe even later, like the ballady stuff is even more singy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know how to say it, but it's more I don't know. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's maybe a little bit more. I don't want to say light because it's not light. It's just more sung
right.
in a certain respect. But just try to kind of feel out things and just really kind of explore the space. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And the album comes out September 7th on Nuclear Blast, right?
Yeah, it's a 6th, I think, in Europe, and then I think the 18th or 19th in the U.S.
Right.
So.
Cool. Now, I'm just going to pick out 3 songs that really amazed me, that I really enjoyed and I listened to over and over again already. First, the first track, "The Messenger." I mean, it's definitely like a Queensryche style with in the beginning, you have a little bit of Jeff Tate and stuff like that, and then it goes in another direction. Were you happy with that song?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the first songs that Freddie and I started working on together, and I think that's one of the reasons why the intro to that was one of the teaser intros that we did,
right.
Whenever we first got the band going and trying to get a little stirring the pot a little bit, and it was we felt really solid about that song. I just really loved the way the intro went into the main body of the song, and it was just cool. And I did, again, with that, I tried to do a little bit of different stuff, bouncing back and forth between the kind of the higher range and the lower, heavier stuff, and then leading into the chorus. And we really, my idea was I really wanted choruses that people could latch onto, and that's kind of what I was aiming for. And Freddie's music just kind of lent itself to that, so it was very, very cool.
That's an excellent track.
Thanks.
Next track, I don't know if you highlighted it on a YouTube channel or whatever, but "Dead Man's Plight" is another song that I really feel fans will like you said, latch on to the band and stuff like that. That's an amazing song. Do you have anything you can tell me about that song?
Cool. Yeah, that's one of the Van picked that song to be our first lyric video, and that was he just really liked the groove of it. I really like the groove of it too. I think instrumentally it's one of those just really neat songs, and I can see, like, from Van's drummer standpoint, he just really likes that kind of that groove. There's a lot of grooviness in there and stuff, and it's just really cool. The idea, the concept behind it is essentially, in life we all have choices, and all those choices lead to, or potentially, and you can take it for gospel or not, right. or just from a guy who's fascinated with the kind of the concepts and aspects of religion and stuff like that. I'm not a religious person by any stretch of the imagination, but I am fascinated by the mythos and things like that are involved with not only the Christian religion, but almost every other religion follows much the same stuff. And it's just how you hold yourself here in this life is kind of like how it will reflect in the past life. And the Messenger also actually, it's funny because people ask if there's a concept to this record, and I say no, but there are definitely themes that run through, and there's sometimes some songs that you can kind of join together, so if you wanted to pair up songs or whatever, they would sort of, thematically they're very similar. Like "Dead Man's Plight" would be, okay, that would almost be before the messenger comes to visit you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you make these decisions in life, and then boop, and whoop, here it is, and here's the messenger. He's come. So, whichever way you lived your life is sort of like one of those things. But there are just certain threads that run through, but there's no necessarily things joining the songs completely, but certainly themes.
Right, and my favorite song, which is epic, is "The Answer." I love that song. I must have played it about 20, 30 times already. I only got the disc 2 days ago when back and forth to work. I just keep on flipping to that song. You have anything you can tell me about that track?
Yeah, man. Well, I wrote that track as I don't know. Were you guys able to hear the acoustic version? No,
I didn't. No.
Okay. Well, on the bonus track on the Digipack is an acoustic version of that, and essentially that's the song. I just wrote it. I just wrote it acoustically, and then I gave it to Freddie, and I said, well, for one thing, can you clean this up just acoustically, because I can't play guitar worth shit. So if you can do that, and then, hey, man, if you got any other ideas to add to it, then please do so. So it was really cool, man, when he threw that back at me, and I was like, holy shit, man, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. The idea, when I was writing the song, the last couple of years I've had some losses, in my of friends in my life. and it just was sort of one of those things that just seems like a theme, and that certainly runs through it. Death definitely runs through this record, and how we deal with it. Life, death, and the afterlife, and so on and so forth. But when I was writing it, I've gone to a couple funerals, and there are certain songs that they always play at funerals that are just kind of one of those things. Like sometimes when I don't know if you've gone to any funerals lately or if you've been to any, but there are just certain songs that people choose that are very fitting for that, and they're very much a tribute to those who have passed. And I always thought, there's in my mind that there's never been like a metal band or a metal song that has paid tribute to those passing, and that's what kind of where I was going through with the answer. Is the answer is basically what you will find on the other side, be it God, be it whatever. If you're an atheist, then you'll find the answer that there is nothing. Right. But when you pass, you will find the answer. And so it's just one of those things. That's what it started out as, and then Freddie just added this very cool stuff, man, and that I can't even conceive of how musicians do that, because I'm not a musician. Right. I'm a singer, maybe even a vocalist. I don't know. Some people don't even call me a singer, but it's just one of those things. It was just kind of built that way. And then as the bonus track, because it was essentially Nuclear Blast sprung it on us. Hey, man, you guys need to do a bonus track. Right. Okay, well, we can do this because it's easy enough to do. We can do it, and it actually turned out really cool too, man. So I hope you get a chance to check that out.
Yeah, I hope so too. So with all these songs, do you believe there is life after death?
I do. I feel like there has to be, man. I just don't. As just from a pure standpoint of science, you can't destroy energy, and that's what we are. Right. Whether it's just a glimmer, a flicker. It's just something that, and I just think that we're kind of bound together. If you want to take it from a Star Wars aspect, we are the kind of the Force, you know what I mean? Uh-huh. So we're bound together in many ways, and I think that, we probably, as energy forms, we meet each other on different planes and through different times, because, there are people that sometimes you meet, whether, and certainly, family members, spouses and things like that, children, and you just feel like there's some other connection besides just, another human being. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. That's kind of the way I feel about it. Like I said, I don't have the answers, right, but I will certainly find out in the afterlife, I'm sure.
Right.
So.
Do you consider Ashes of Aries a studio band or a touring band?
I consider it a touring band as much as we can tour, man. Our main objective here is certainly to write music and put music out there and hope that folks like it. But my whole thing is, we will tour and support the records as much as possible, and obviously as our catalog gets bigger, maybe and we get a little bit more recognition or recognized out there, then we'll have some more opportunities. But obviously our main objective, because we are limited, I'm certainly limited to touring with family and career, and the other guys are as well. It's just our main objective is put out good music, and I hope that people dig it. And I can only think of like all the bands that I've listened to in my life that I've never seen live, but I always appreciate their music, and I buy their records religiously and things like that. So you don't always get to see the bands that that are out there. Occasionally you do. Occasionally you're lucky enough to, but. Like I said, I've got an extensive Queensryche library, but the first time that I ever saw Queensryche was at a festival that we played with them. You know what I mean? So it's just, sometimes it just doesn't happen. So I don't think you really need to be successful in creating good music by touring. But if you make your money, like Iced Earth does, musically, then you got to tour, and I totally get that. I just think that there's kind of two different worlds. I know a lot of bands that are out there that don't tour, like all year round because they have other careers and things like that. You know, the guys in Camelot. You know, there's just a lot of bands out there that don't do that. And maybe they would like to. I don't know. I don't know what their situations are, but I certainly understand where it comes from, where you're coming from if you have to tour, if that's your money maker, is music.
Right.
So I don't know. I do see us as, I guess the answer is both. I don't know. I don't know. We'll like I said, we'll tour as much as we can and support of the record, and so we can get out there so that our friends and fans and stuff like that can see us and talk to us and all that good stuff. But it certainly won't be as much as maybe some other bands.
Cool. Now, later in the year, there's a show coming up, which we'll be at, Rockeyez, my site, and my staff will be at, and you guys are playing. It's called Rock Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
And, as you being a police officer, you're playing a benefit for Fallen Blue on. You guys are playing the 7th. It's the 7th, November 7th through the 9th,
mm-hmm.
and like I said, we'll be there too. And what does kind of like a benefit for like your comrades, playing a show like that for them?
It's extremely cool, man. I mean, any opportunity that I get, and I really do my very best to perform. If somebody asks me to perform for anything, for another officer or for an organization, I'm more than happy to do it. I've been really graced to be able to sing at at some of the memorial services and things like that during Police Week, and singing the national anthem and stuff, and that's always an honor for me to do that. And this is just kind of like the ultimate, because I get to actually do my metal stuff and add a benefit, and it is really cool. It's super cool. I'm also going to try to set up something for probably not a concert, but a record release kind of listening thing to benefit my friend's foundation. It's the Chad Spicer Memorial Foundation, and he was killed back in 2009, and so we're going to try to do something for that as well to get a little bit of money, like proceeds from record sales and things like that will go towards that. So, we really try to do, we're going to try to do as much as we can. I don't know if you know this or not, but Van's father, who's passed away, he was a police officer in the Bronx for many, many years. So that's Van's kind of tie in with this as well. So I mean it's pretty important to him to do as much as he can as well. So we're really happy to do it.
Cool. Well, Matt, I congratulate you on the upcoming release on Nuclear Blast. I guess September 6th in Europe and 7th in the United States. And I hope everybody supports the CD. It's amazing. I've been listening to it over and over again. Some amazing tracks. 3 of them I mentioned to you. And I love the disc. Would you like to say anything in conclusion to the fans out there?
Yeah, man. Well, for one thing, I just really want to, we're coming up on decades here that I've been involved in music professionally, and I just cannot thank the fans and our friends enough. It's been awesome, and I know that there have been ups and downs and things like that. I'm here, I'm there, I'm in and out, and so on and so forth. But people really stuck by me in particular, and I just can't express enough how important that is, and that people like the music, and I really hope that people dig this record, and I definitely want honest opinions, and I hope that if they're good critiques, then I can certainly take that and store those away for the next one.
Cool.
So anyway, I thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity,
man. Thanks a lot.